And welcome back to the Joey Jones Show from Mugshots Grill and Bar on Airport Boulevard. The previous low for yards allowed against an FBS opponent, 303 yards. That game in Denton, Texas last year against North Texas. And remember, that was a great defensive effort and it just fell short against those guys. But 274 against Louisiana Monroe, that is the new bar that we will set as we head into Georgia State today. So let's take a look at the Panthers, and let's get rid of the big elephant in the room. It's the fact that they're 0-11, okay? Everybody knows that. I'm sure the players know that. You guys know that. Does that play into anything that you're doing? Because unfortunately, they're actually playing okay football.
Well, they've proven that they took Western Kentucky down to the wire, 35-33. They almost beat Troy. They had Lafayette 28-21 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we watch film. I never look at a record in our players. I'm sure they do, but we certainly don't talk about it. We look at what we got to do to beat them, and we look at each player. Players we got to attack, schemes we have to attack, and that's what we concentrate on. So really the 0-11 thing is just something never is brought up and should never enter our players' minds.
Well, and the bad thing too is that, you know, sometimes you have an 0-11 team that's just quit and they say, you know, we're done with this thing. Unfortunately for us, they're the other way. You know, it's gonna be senior day out there. They're gonna give it everything they got.
They're getting better, and they have gotten better. Early in the year, I would say they did struggle. They're playing much better football right now.
All right, so offensively, what do they do?
They're kind of a spread team. They do both. They'll get under center and run some, but they've evolved more to what I call a spread team in the shotgun and throwing the ball more. So they found out number 2, Albert Wilson's their best player by far. He's their big-time playmaker, and they're going to get it to him as much as they can. And, you know, he had a 70 and 80-yard touchdown against Arkansas State last week. There he is right there. So a really great player.
Well, and that's the thing, too. They've got some size. They've got some athletes, too.
Yeah, they do. They're very athletic, and it's just a matter of just you know, kind of getting their program to where they need it to be. And the coach has done a great job over there. I tell you, Trent he's a heck of a guy, and he's going to get that program going.
Well, defensively for us, we've really been playing well. So as we look at this Georgia State offense, what do we have to do to keep clicking against these guys?
We got to control the line of scrimmage. Bottom line, we got to play physical up front. We got to get after the passer and stop the run. If we do that, obviously, and that's of course that's against anybody, but if we do that, then we should be okay.
And we've seen it against Kent State. We saw it against Monroe last weekend. Shut them down early, get the big lead early, mentally, physically, all the way around. What does that do when you have a little bit of breathing room?
Well, you want to try to jump on any opponent you play, and the aim is to do that every week, and sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes it does. But I think in this game in particular, we need to start off well. I think just, you know, being their place, it's senior day, it's you know, they're gonna have the advantage of the home field, and so we better, anytime you go on the road, you want to jump on them quickly.
And the crowd isn't bad. You know, you may look at the highlights at the end of this thing and say, look, see all the empty seats, but you got to understand there's 70,000 seats in there.
Exactly.
They may have 15,000, 20,000 fans in there.
Exactly. It doesn't look like it. So and one thing, you got to prepare our players for that. I mean, we went to Kent State a couple of years ago, and it was not, the crowd was not very good in a big stadium, and we kind of got lulled into the, you know, wow, this is not very exciting kind of deal. And, you know, we're going to play a football game and to win a football game, and that's what we're concentrating on. We can't worry about anything else. We can't worry about who else is playing that day, whether it's Thanksgiving, all those kind of things. We better be ready to play.
All right, well, let's take a look at the Georgia State defense coming up in just a couple of minutes. But right now, time for our Mobile Gas player profile, and we'll hear more from Rush Hendricks. We know what he can do on the field, but what he does off the field may be more impressive. Take a look.
It's kind of evolved into what's expected. That was before I went to high school. My brother and sister were both there. My mom was a teacher at the high school, so it was expected, and just kind of drove me to pursue it here. At times it can be difficult. It comes down to time management and priorities. Really, is the two things you got to think about. You got to prioritize what you want to do now, later, and that falls right back on time management and managing when to do what. And I've been fortunate to be able to fit everything into the schedule that I've had. Satisfaction is knowing that when we are on the goal line, when we need a 4th and short, I'm one of the guys they call in. And that's gives me a lot of pride in what I do and making those blocks and helping the team succeed. If you ask anybody back home, they'd probably say yes. And I had opportunities to play collegiate baseball, and my heart was always in football, and that's what I pursued. I've hinted to it, and we got guys that's their role, and I accept that, and they're good at what they do. So I can't complain too much, but I whisper in there every now and then.